The government earlier this week announced that they'd be increasing the Home and Business Battery Scheme bonus from $5,000 to $12,000. From December 1, the boost to the scheme is going to provide Territorians with greater access to renewable energy solutions, lowering energy bills and supporting local businesses involved in the supply and installation of solar PV systems and batteries. The Deputy Chief Minister and also Minister for Renewables, Gerard Maley, joins me on the show. Good morning to you, Minister.
Good morning, Katie, and good morning, listeners.
Thanks so much for your time this morning. Now, Minister, the scheme kicks in on December 1. Has there been a lot of interest so far?
Yes, Katie, there's been a lot of interest. So what our scheme does is essentially double the battery bonus for homes and businesses. We know that the Labor government had set it at 6 and then they actually put it back to 5 in the previous term. But what we want to do is we're going to bring it out to $12,000 to just allow that cost of living pressures. So people, the plan is that people will be able to have this battery system at home. They'll be able to use their solar panels during the day to charge up the batteries, and then they can use the batteries throughout the night. And what we're trying to achieve here is just to reduce power bills either to zero and be negative or very small, depending on what sort of home you have and how many children and air cons and things like that you use during the evening.
So how much is it all going to cost?
Well, look, ultimately, the second part of this scheme, Katie, is we're actually doubling the pool of money or the pot of money from $3 million up to $6 million. So it's going to cost $6 million. This is not just a scheme where you just get $12,000. You have to put some money, your own money in, a bit of skin in the game in relation to buying the battery. So it's really a partnership between the government and the private industry and people who want to be able to take advantage of the scheme. We're going to promote it because it's about renewable energy. It's about lowering the cost of living, and we're going to work with home owners and also business owners to allow people to have those batteries, reduce the cost of living, and basically have their own little virtual power plant at home where they can operate as they see fit.
Deputy Chief Minister, when the former government changed the solar feed-in tariff for households, people were furious. Territorians were absolutely furious about that change. As I understand it, you have confirmed that the peak feed-in tariff for households is going to increase. What are Territorians going to be able to get?
Look, I understand why Territorians are furious because the Labor government promised not to change those feed-in tariffs for those grandfather, for the people who already had it, and then they broke that promise and did it. The CLP have been very clear leading up to the election that we're going to double the feed-in tariff to up to just over 18 cents during peak times, which is between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. During the day and night and the evening.
Is it going to cause stress, though, for the whole system? I mean, is this something that is going to put real pressure on our networks?
Look, ultimately, the plan is to be able to, these people have the solars during the day, the battery at night, and operate independently from the system. And of course, they can bring power in if they're using more power during the evening. But what we want to try and do is ease that cost of living and also ease the burden on the power and water in relation to this renewable. We know that in Territory we have lots of sun, maybe not that. The last few days it's been raining a little bit, but ultimately we've got a fair bit of sunshine up here, so we're encouraging people to take advantage of the scheme, buy some batteries, we'll chip in, you chip in, and ultimately lower that cost of living and rely on those renewable energy.
So, Minister, as I touched on, we know the former government made changes to this. People were furious about it. Is what you have now announced earlier in the week, does that actually take people back to the promise that the former government had said that they weren't going to break? Is it as good as what they thought they were going to get?
No, I don't think it's as good. We've doubled the feed-in tariff up to 18, just over 18 kilowatts an hour. I don't have solar panels, so I think it was higher than that previously.
Yep.
But what we are trying to do is just give a bonus. If you are going to conserve energy and you want to export into the to the system, you can do that, and it's at just over 18 cents per kilowatt hour.
All right, and when is that going to come into effect, the feed-in tariff changes? Because I know from December 1 is when we're going to see a boost to the battery scheme, as I understand it, but when is it for the feed-in tariff?
Yeah, that's correct. So the batteries start December 1, which is Sunday, and the feed-in tariff starts on July 1, 2025. So
Okay.
next financial year.
Next year. How come not until next year for that one?
We're just waiting. The Power and Water tell us they're doing a system upgrade in early 2025, and it will just go hand in hand with that system upgrade, and then we've just basically picked the new financial year to kick it off.